Welcome to the Way We See It podcast.
where we talk about politics, social justice, and culture.
I'm Tati,
And I'm Ariana.
and we are your host of this podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Way We See It podcast. This is episode 31, officially week 11, and I'm back from vacation, so there's no more pre-episode recording for a while. And
Yeah, so the last episode you heard was pre-recorded, so we haven't um we haven't really spoken like through video in about 2 weeks. We've been talking through text, so this is like the first time we had time to chat and just catch up and all that.
we did our weekly chat obviously before recording this episode, so you're not even gonna hear everything. But for those that are wondering, my vacation was nice, and I got a huge sunburn basically, and now I'm going back to my white self. Um, but with like a lot of pain because it actually hurts a lot to the point where I'm scratching myself so much to the point where I'm bleeding, and it's not okay. Yeah,
Hey, get some shea butter, some raw shea butter. That fixes everything.
I'm putting the shea butter, a lotion on me, and on top of that, the aloe. But I didn't put the aloe on actually for a few days, so maybe that's why I made it more itchy. But the aloe actually burns my arm now when I put it on because I have the cuts.
Mm.
But I'll be okay. I guess I'm just too tough to cry. But yeah, so thanks guys for coming back to listen to our podcast. Make sure you follow our Instagram and Twitter at The Way We See It, with a C. Check out our website, which can be found in our Instagram and Twitter bios, where you'll find our blogs, current events, resources, citations, and more. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel if you're not watching there right now at The Way We See It, where we also will be posting our visuals for our episode, since we stopped doing it on SoundCloud like for almost like a month now, I want to say. So when you check it out on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, and turn on the bell button so you can get notified when we upload our episodes.
Yeah. And anybody listening on Apple Podcasts, feel free to leave a rating, and if you can, write a review. This can help grow our podcast and just to hear our listeners' feedback. And if you have any ideas for future topics or having a person in mind you think we should collaborate with, you can like reach us out on our social medias, on our podcast, or you can even reach out to our personal accounts.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So before we get into this week's topic, we want to address some feedback that we received from a listener from episode 29.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode, one of the topics that we talked about was the gender wage gap. And we stated that in the US, women earn 82 cents for every dollar earned by men. But a listener brought up a great point, and I'm going to read the message now. Um, I'm listening to your podcast, and I noticed that the statistic given about the wage gap, which I just said about 82 cents for every dollar, is the one that fails to take into account the level of profession, the amount of time spent in the career, and the number of days taken off slash vacation. Can you supply a source that directly demonstrates the wage difference with these variables, comparing the exact same jobs? Because a doctor and a teacher do not make the same. Clearly we know that doctors make much more money than teachers.
Yeah.
And making sure that the time spent in the job is the same and the amount of vacation taken time off. So I thought this was a great point that this listener made. And I went back to the resource that we used about the women earn 82 cents for every dollar, and it actually did not account for these variables. So in response to that, I did some research, and like very quickly, actually, I found a study that controlled for job title, years of experience, education, industry, location, etc. And the results indicated that women earn 98 cents for every dollar earned by men. So as you can see, when the variables are controlled, or the variables I just said are controlled, the gap kind of like decreases, but obviously there's still a gap. So these statistics show that when a man and a woman are working the same job and the same for everything for the controls listed with the exact qualifications, the woman is still paid less. So yeah, that's just a thought to think about. So like usually when we usually see a lot of social media posts, the 80 women earn 82 cents for every dollar. That's always like a post I always see often, and I always like remember that statistic because how often I see it. But it's also important to look at what variables one when controlling these variables what can the wage gap look like, the gender wage gap.
Hmm. Yeah, for real, because honestly, 82 cents is a big difference compared to 98 cents, even though the gap is still there. But I think it also depends, like what you said, the variables, like the locations, the type of job, all that other stuff. But it also depends on the state and obviously country, because
Yeah.
we mainly talk about the US. So I would specifically say it depends on the states, because in some states minimum wage isn't even close to even $15 an hour. So
Hmm.
imagine that wage gap over there if they don't even have that.
Yeah.
It's also similar to I think I said in a previous episode, I'm not sure, but like how you can even see for like teaching, even though it is a difference between being a doctor and a teacher. Um, a teacher in New York State will definitely get paid 10 times more if they taught in New York State compared to if they went to Florida or to any other state besides California.
Yeah, like even honestly, the teachers up here, upstate, where I live, they don't make as much as the teachers in the city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy.
Um,
And if they do make that much money upstate, it's because maybe extracurricular activities that they do on the side in school, or a lot more experience, like they've been teaching for more years, so it's already part of like their pension, I believe. How it goes. I forgot. I haven't read the teaching requirements for the license in a while, but yeah. So that was a nice feedback. I didn't mind it, because like we say, we like to hear everybody's opinions, even if they don't agree with us, and it just helps us know what to talk about in later episodes, because now we have a new topic to talk about for a future episode that we didn't really think of before, but I'm excited to talk about that one actually, because it is very true, and that's why a lot of things are one-sided, blindsided, whatever you want to really say for that one. But getting into this week's topic is climate change. So why did we want to discuss this, Adi?
well, first thing on being that it's April, it's Earth Month, and Earth Day is slowly approaching on April 22nd, so in about 2 weeks. We decided to like dedicate an episode to talk about how we feel about climate change and as well as educate our listeners about this topic. Um, I'm very well aware that climate change exists. Um, that global
No.
warming is a thing. I said warning is a thing. Um, like I know that. Okay, so yeah, I know that Earth is basically dying, and I try little things to do little things. I know I could do more.
Yeah.
I try to do little things, and we'll get into that later in the episode. But I think it's important, we live here, like we not gonna be alive forever. Might as well like make, contribute to the planet we live in, the from the years that we here living here, and like provide a better planet for our children, you know, or like our children, and just like I don't know.
No, yeah.
What do you
Um, I've been saying this in season one that I've been wanting to talk about things with the earth since forever, just because like I just did science all my years of high school, and I think earth science and environmental science were the two that really like got to me, because they really were showing like why the earth is the way it is, why everything um like acts a certain way, like how the moon controls the ocean, how the trees react to other trees, and what happens when certain trees aren't there, and how that affects us. Like it's like literally the circle of life, like how we're all connected somehow. And so that's why I just like to talk about it, and then not to mention like what you said. Climate change is a real thing. I think a lot of people are in denial about it still for some reason, even though we literally see the Arctic melting and Iceland not even being Iceland anymore. Um, it's just a pretty crazy thing. And even me, like I try my hardest to do what I can from not like what's the word? Is it polluting? Not,
like throwing garbage on the floor.
yeah, like not throwing trash on the ground. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
you should
I'm
think.
that friend. Like, I don't know if Tati's seen this, but I'm that friend. If I see like we're in a group and I see you throw something on the floor, I'm that friend. Like, you better pick that up.
Oh, I pick it up. Because if they're like,
Like, you're
no,
not just.
I'm not gonna start an argument. I'll be like, all right, whatever, but I'll pick it up myself. The
Mhm.
most you may see me do is throw a piece of gum out on the ground, but that's if I know there's no trash can around, like anywhere. But besides that, I try to make sure everything goes where it goes. But I know I definitely could do more. It's just like that's what I'm saying. That's where it's like you have to compromise in certain ways. And this is where I can't compromise because we live in upstate, so we need our cars. And I don't have
Yeah,
money to be getting a Tesla, to getting that electrical outlet stuff and all that.
yeah, yeah. It's hard, and like, um, maybe other people can agree with this. Like, we as humans, I don't know, I like convenience. Like buying. I rather buy food at the supermarket than go to the food market. Like, I know there's a food market in my area where I can get um my vegetables and like fruits and whatever like locally. But like, nah, I go to Walmart, I go to ShopRite, whatever,
Yeah.
because I like convenience. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can agree with me that they like convenience. And like, and usually, and I've seen this like in many like different issues, that people, they're not gonna really do something until they it's gonna affect them personally. So, and like, we have learned that like time and time again. This is not the first time we saying this. Like, there's people that have like good hearts, and like they hear a story and like they're really moved by it and all that. But there's like people that they're not gonna really do, like,
Not
take action, like give it 100% unless it affects them personally. And I'm guilty of that. Like, like I just said, like, um I could be doing more to, like, help our planet, but I don't, because like I prefer convenience.
yeah, but damn.
I
Facts.
just went in.
No, that's facts though, because like sometimes it's intentional, which we see in some cases, and it's also unintentional in other cases. Like without it, like it's just whatever's more convenient for you. Even if that's just to go to the supermarket, to drive around, or um, even I guess for people that may think just leaving a bottle there on the ground isn't gonna do anything, but it is, and like things like that. And even not gonna lie, when I was on the plane, on the way back from St. Thomas, I don't know what we were over, but I saw a whole bunch of garbage in the ocean. And I don't know if we were passing by Miami or Puerto Rico, but it was somewhere near there, and you just saw a whole line of trash. And I was like, is that an island? And the person next to me was like, no, that's trash. And I was just like, that that's what I'm talking about, because like we don't really see it that much, but it's there and it's visible. And same thing with like obviously climate change, the ozone layer, we don't see it, but there's a big hole in our atmosphere that's affecting our lives and affecting the earth that we even live on. So it's kind of crazy because even me with my Pura Vida bracelets, I'm thinking I'm doing so much when I'm getting my bracelets, because it's donating back to the earth and people that work here, but still give back to the earth and like helping the rainforest, ocean, animals, da da da. Da. But there's still so much that like needs to be done,
Hmm.
needs more attention. So yeah.
Yeah. um so now we're gonna get into like what is climate change, and So first, I'm going to discuss briefly about like the history of climate change.
Mhm.
So during the Industrial Revolution, when like everybody was moving to the city for the jobs and all that, which is around the it started 1760 and 80 and ended in 1840. So the reason many people moved to cities because to work in the factories. So there were like a lot of factories in the city, and a lot of people were living in the cities as well. So as a result of that, carbon dioxide, which is the Earth's atmosphere, which is what is it? Which what is it? A gas, right?
Yeah, carbon dioxide is like what we basically breathe out after oxygen. We know that already. So it's basically a harmful gas still to the earth because it's supposed to be taken in by plants, but then there's too much that comes in, and that's what affects the atmosphere. So yeah.
Yeah. So after during the this time, the Industrial Revolution, carbon dioxide in the Earth atmosphere increased drastically. And so what caused this increase? Like human activity, everybody moving to the city and all that, and the factories, people working in the factories and releasing all those gases in the air and all that. So burning more fossil fuels that release CO2, increase in gold population, consuming more products from animals that release a pollutant called methane. So these are just few of the factors that were happening during this time, and that's when like things started to increase.
Yeah. And basically, the science behind climate change is just that. So this is basically the steps to what leads to climate change and what makes it happen. So basically, the gases like carbon dioxide and methane are released into the atmosphere. Sunlight gets into the Earth's atmosphere, and some of the heat gets trapped, and then the planet eventually gets warmer. So basically, what I said about has to do with also the photosynthesis and things like that with nature and everything around us, because um, I forget honestly if it's certain plants or if it's trees. I have to check that. And I'll correct myself in the next episode if I am wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's what I just said prior to like them taking in the carbon dioxide. And that's what helps them like live and like get their proteins and their nutrients and all that stuff. But then there's too much in the atmosphere, and then it gets released into like the ozone layer and the other layers, which make that big hole that allows sunlight from the sun to come in, and it's more powerful because that layer that protects the earth is now like no longer there, so it's creating a gap, I want to say, just a big hole. So that's why they say there's skin cancer and stuff also that comes from that, because the sun rays are 10 times stronger. And I definitely felt those sun rays when I was in St. Thomas. That sun was different. Like I promise you, I was like, this sun is crazy. And I'm like imagining if this sun is this crazy here, imagine how it is in other places. And that's why
Where
it's
the
so serious.
equator is at.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But still, I've never I remember going to Puerto Rico when I was younger, Florida, all these places. Always got a tan, but I didn't get a tan as fast as I got it over there just from walking in the street and literally turning so tan. And I was just like, but I was burnt. And it didn't matter how much sunscreen I put on, it was like I didn't even have sunscreen on. So,
Yeah, the sun in
no,
the Caribbean is different.
yeah, for real.
When I went to the Bahamas one, I got burned like you, and I came back peeling. It was
Yeah, I feel disgusting.
embarrassed because like I came to school with like peeled face, and like I
Oh,
was in high school now.
thank God I don't have to go to school like this, because I'm literally just covering myself in hoodies right now, but my face is starting to peel right here. No bueno. So basically, the issue, the Earth is getting warmer too quickly, and the result of the Earth getting warmer too quickly is natural disasters like floods, hurricanes. They're becoming more frequent and intense. And according to NASA, Category 4 and 5 hurricanes have all increased since the early 1980s. Um, Pausing before I get into the next thing, even my dad was saying how when we were in St. Thomas, because my dad's originally from St. Thomas, and he used to say, he's like, yeah, back when I lived here, because he was here, he hadn't visited St. Thomas since the 1990s and stuff, like
Oh,
since 20 years ago, 20 almost 25, I want to say. He used to say, he's like, yeah, the islands used to be so blessed. Like, there never was this many hurricanes, tsunamis, and everything. Because I'm walking around the island, and I'm seeing like, oh, this way to reach tsunami's point. So like, if a tsunami was to hit, like everybody in the lower areas of the island has to go up to whatever highest mountain areas that they have. And for
Mhm.
the hurricanes, you see they have these metal doors to pull down. They have the wooden windows to close shut and like lock. And even us on our patio, we were like on a higher mountain, which was above the tsunami point, but there still was the metal stuff to pull down against the patio doors, so the glass didn't break. And even a small window we had in our bathroom had like the wooden cabinet things to be shut closed. And he's like, yeah, the islands used to be blessed, but lately, since I left, it's like, especially recently, they've just been getting slammed like hurricane after hurricane,
Mhm.
um, and just a whole bunch of natural disasters. So I was just like, what?
Yeah. And it's sad because like in natural disasters, people lose lives, they lose their families, they lose their home,
Yeah.
their community. They just, there's so much loss and that happens in natural disasters, especially when it's intense.
No, yeah, for real. And another thing, he was also saying how a lot of the houses were changed because now he could see a lot of them are being, a lot more construction is being done to the island, since so many more hurricanes and natural disasters are hitting, that a lot of the houses are now being made into concrete, not so much wood anymore, and just whatever else they would make the house out of besides concrete. So yeah, and brick, I think. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
continuing, we also have the melting of ice sheets and glaciers, water shortages, also known as droughts, which we see in California. Seawater is rising and Earth's temperature is getting warmer. And it also, according to NASA, sea level will rise 1 to 8 feet by 21,000. That's how we say it? Yeah, 20. Yeah, 21,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds so weird to say that though. If
Mhm.
this continues to happen, coastal cities like Miami could completely disappear. And yeah, they've definitely been doing studies over there in Miami too, because they see the water rising there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And one thing we forgot to mention, I forgot to put this, that this also affects animals, like
Hmm.
animals in Antarctica, like with the glaciers like melting and shit, like where they're supposed to like
Yeah, the polar bears, they have
stand
to drink
on.
the water all the freaking time now to cool down because there's not even any ice for them to be on. And they basically have to be in the water. But a lot of animals also can't be in the water, even though they're in these cool environments because, predators, all those things that are trying to hunt them are there also. So
Hmm.
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Also, like, is wildfires part of? Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
is.
yeah, wildfires. I know, like in California, like this year, like they had
They
bad
had so
wildfires,
many wildfires.
like to the point like the sky was like black, like even during the day. Like that was like creep me out. Imagine like it's
Yeah, I
like
remember
daytime, but it's
seeing.
like black.
Yeah, I remember seeing San Francisco, the bridge like completely like gone. It was just black and gray smoke everywhere, and it was like that for days. Like, I think I have it in my notes from when 2020 first started and all the natural disasters and horrible things that started occurring in the world. I'm actually gonna check that real quick. You can say
Yeah.
anything else you want to
And
say.
the what's it called? The mudslides. Did remember when the mudslides happened in California and like one of them it damaged like Oprah's house and shit?
What the heck?
Yeah.
What happened?
It's like the mudslides. So I don't know how
Oh,
like, the
mud.
science. What happened?
You said mudslides.
Maybe I'm saying the word wrong.
Mud slides. No, yeah, you're saying it right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It was just me. I'm just deaf.
Um.
Hold on. So yeah, so I found it, guys. So in January, obviously, R.I.P. Kobe. Kobe died. Then we also had the Australia fires, which had started in Australia, which is also an effect of climate change. They had said. Um, I forget how exactly that fire had started though, because it was a whole year ago. But basically, 1 billion of wildlife had died, and then Not to mention, that's when also the wildfires have started in California, like we were just talking about. So that basically was it. But 1 billion, that's a big number. Not million, billion. So it affects
Yeah,
everybody and everything.
it's a lot. You know,
You
I
wouldn't
don't,
think
I don't.
climate change too would affect sea levels, but it does because the ice is melting and it's adding onto water. Yeah.
I heard like I remember reading an article like um if the sea levels will get really high, will get high in New York City, like Manhattan will be gone.
Oh yeah, Manhattan will be gone soon. You heard that, Eric?
Yeah,
Manhattan's gone. That means you're gone.
absolutely gone. I don't know if I'll be alive to see that, but
Yeah,
what was that thing they had in the city of the countdown of how much
the clock.
um
How much time we have left to redeem our mistakes on how we treat this earth? Yeah. It says by the time I'm 27, 28. So if I'm 27, 28, you'll be like 32, I want to say.
so according to
Yeah,
that countdown.
we only have now 7 years left to live on Earth before the world is taken over by more natural disasters and basically the world going to shit because of climate change.
Yeah, for those who don't know, there was. Can you explain more about the countdown that they put? Is it? I don't know if it's still there.
No, I think it is actually.
Oh,
It wasn't there for a small period of time. I think they kept it there. I'm about to switch it up right now.
but yeah,
Um,
it's basically. I don't know who put it up, but and what was the science and like the research like for them picking them that number of years.
I just remember the day Erica sent that to me, and I was just freaking out. Because he always says like, "Oh, I'm not living past 27." He's like, "You see, I prophesized it because the clock came out."
Now, if that clock is right, then I need to start. I need to start living.
Right?
Okay, so I'm reading.
No,
I
no.
have an article. I have from Forbes, and the I'm looking at a picture of the clock that it
Mhm.
was taken on September 24th, 2020, and it said 7 years, 98 days, 13 hours, and was it 13 hours, 54 seconds, 58 milliseconds.
Mhm.
When's Climate Week? Like during the week of Earth Day?
Mm-mm. Oh, they have multiple of them.
Multiple clocks?
Yeah, they got one here in New York. They got one in Berlin. They got one in Paris.
They worldwide with these clocks.
Oh,
They trying to tell the people something.
so basically, okay, it says the climate clock shows two numbers. The first in red is the timer counting down how long it will take as current rates of emissions to burn through our carbon budget, quote unquote, the amount of CO2 that can be released into the atmosphere while limiting global warming to 1.5 Celsius above pre industrial levels. This is our deadline, the time we have left to take um, decisive action to keep warming under the 1.5 Celsius threshold. The second number in green is tracking and growing percentages of the world's energy currently supplied from renewable sources. This is our lifeline. Simply put, we need to get our lifeline to 100% before the deadline reaches zero, or else it's game over. Duh.
Sheesh.
Okay, currently the lifeline is at 28%. So, in the last few months, the deadline is 6 years from now, and we're at 28%. We need to get to 100 to survive. If we get to zero, we die. I feel like I'm in one of those games that's like, choose your character, and then choose your weapon. And then I have to send you that TikTok, Ariana, because you would be weak right now if you knew what I was talking about. So yeah, basically, guys, that's it with the timer. We had said that originally in like season one, because yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was before September, but no, because it definitely wasn't in the beginning of our podcast. I know that much.
Yeah, it wasn't like in the summer, maybe like fall time.
Yeah, so September.
Yeah.
Perfect timing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
on to the next thing. We have carbon footprint. I've never heard of that. So what is that, Adi?
So according to Nature um Conservancy, the total amount of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide and methane, that are generated by our actions. So that's the like definition of carbon footprint.
Mhm.
So it includes like the food we eat, how much electricity we use, how many miles you drive every year. And the average carbon footprint for a person in the United States is 16 tons, one of the highest rates in the world, of course, because America.
Oh my god.
um, according to Nature Conservancy, the average global carbon footprint per year needs to drop. So they say it needs to drop 2 tons by 2050. Sheesh. I'll be like, look at I'll
To
be
avoid.
to avoid the 2 degrees Celsius increase in global temperatures.
Oh, so that basically adds on to what we just said about the Celsius thing before.
Yeah. And there's a calculator where you can calculate your carbon footprint.
Wow.
And we found a website where you can do so. And I'm gonna put the link in our website. So if you go on our resources tab, and I actually took the time to calculate my carbon footprint, and I'm actually scared to say the number.
Wait, how long
Because
does it take you to do it?
it took me like 5 minutes, but I did have to. So I took the test, like it asks like how many people live in your house. So I did the test based on like what me and my family do, because I live with my family,
Mhm.
what we like all like consume and everything. So
Okay.
that's how. So I had to ask my mom a few questions because I didn't know the answers to everything. But it asks you, yeah, how many people live in your household, your zip code, um, like how much meat do you consume, and like eggs and like fruits and vegetables, how many miles you drive, how many um per year, how much electricity you spend per year, like things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And mine, this is okay, this is not just me. Like I said, I calculated like everybody that lives in my home.
Mm-hmm.
91 tons of carbon dioxide per year, which
That's
is which is a lot. And
more
this
than
is like
16 tons.
yeah, this is like according to like the analysis they gave me, there was like this is 3% better than average, just 3%. But it just makes me feel so bad because like the average in the US is 16. I'm over here with 91.
You can,
And
yo,
I'm like, yo, I gotta do better. Like, sheesh.
nah, I'm kind of scared to see my thing.
You
'Cause
want to do it real quick? Maybe you can do it just for like yourself, or maybe you can include your family.
let me do it real quick. I'll put on
Mhm.
pause. Okay, guys. I don't know if this is that accurate. I did it to the best of my ability because I'm not with my aunt who I live with. But it's basically me and my 6 people that live in my household. That's including me. So it says, oh, wait, pause. My total footprints is 77 tons per year, and that's 0% better than average, which is the app. It makes me feel better knowing that it's less than Adi. What's it called? It doesn't make me feel that good seeing that it's below like average, like not even close to it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we could do a little better. We could do a little better.
Yeah, so you can guys like you can find out your carbon footprint, and it tells you like your analysis, and actually it does tell you ways you can like decrease your carbon footprint. So you can check that resource out.
Yeah, the thing I saw right after it told me how much of my carbon footprint was. It said take action. So you would just have to press next right after that to see what you can do. I have to check that out myself.
From they also gives you a graph, and of course like the food one was like the highest one,
Yeah,
because like my house we consume a lot of meat. Like I
yeah.
love chicken. Like
I hate
I like.
chicken, but it's such a Hispanic thing. Like it's always just meat. Like it's rare if I see any Hispanic that doesn't eat meat. So, um, at least in my life, I haven't seen a lot of
No, no, you're right. Like be like, "¿Tú no comes carne?"
they
We
everything.
when
Like, my goodness, I'm tired of chicken, but I still eat it. Anyways, next subtopic. So basically, here are the things that you can do to help with climate change. So now that we talked about the history behind climate change and what climate change is and how it is impacting the planet that we live in, here are the few things that you can do about it. So first, eat less meat. Second, wash clothes with cold water. Fun fact, I'm gonna tell that to my mother now because she's always yelling at me, you don't need to wash all the clothes with cold water. I'm like, I can't remember what to use with the warm water, so I always wash them all with cold water. So look, I'm
Mm-hmm.
halfway there. And recycle your clothes. So donate, gift to a friend or family member, which is what we said in our fast fashion industry episode on how you can help like fix that, because the fast fashion industry, yeah, it's nice to get cheap clothes like faster and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it affects the earth also. Um, if you want to know more about that, go to that episode to check it out. Bring your own shopping bag to the supermarket or any store. Like in New York State, the plastic bags are banned, so now you have to bring your own bag anywhere, or they just give you a paper bag. But now in some places, you have to pay for a paper bag. Use reusable water bottles, or if you do have a plastic bottle, try your best to fill it up with water again, so you don't, waste them. Um, Reduce water waste, unplug electronics when you're not using them, switch light bulbs to energy efficient bulbs, use public transportation more, start a climate conversation and speak up, sharing with your friends, families about climate change to open people's mind on what is going on with the planet we live in. So, we're spreading more awareness. And overall, it's up to us to change our ways to save the earth, because that is a fact. The only way the earth is going to change is if we, the people that live on this earth, do something about it. So that's basically it.
That's a huge responsibility
Yeah, it's like
because,
the
you
world,
know,
I literally feel the weight on my shoulders.
everybody has their opinion about this, and I also feel like climate change is politicized as well, and
Mm-hmm.
that can also affect views on global warming and stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, like we gotta do our thing, I guess.
yeah. Because the thing is too, like, there's, at least from what I can recall, I'm obviously not getting into depth with it, guys. Like, I could be wrong. Um, but from what I remember in environmental class that I took in my junior year, I want to say, I learned that, yeah, the fossil fuels are bad, but like we said, they're more convenient, more efficient sometimes. And you know what? I can understand why Trump did what he did when it came to the fossil fuel industry when he was president, because at the end of the day, it does help the economy more. For us to use fossil fuels. The only thing is, it's going to end the world faster if we continue to rely on it and use so much of it at the end of the day. And what's it called? But the things that we would use instead of using fossil fuels, like solar panels and um, like things like that, to like save electricity, save water. What other things? The windmills. Like those
Yeah.
things, like there's a lot of cons to those also, like depending on where you live, maybe like when winter comes, you can't really have solar panels if you're not getting a lot of sun where you live, because if it's a rainy day and it's cloudy out, you're not going to have any electricity in your house or any service.
Yeah.
So it's like those kinds of things also that play a part in it. um, and right now I do know that Biden is undoing a lot of the things that Trump did in regards to the environment, like what I said with the fossil fuels and stuff that him and Obama originally did when they were together in office. Um, I forget what exactly they are. It is. I think we talked about it actually. I'm not sure, or I just read it on Twitter.
Is it like the Paris agreement?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
probably saying it wrong. Paris something.
yeah, yeah, because it was an agreement with them and a whole bunch of other countries on how to preserve energy and fossil fuels and all that stuff. So it's along those lines. I'll figure it out and I'll post it on Instagram story. But yeah. So yeah, basically, guys, that is it for this episode regarding climate change And we actually have a few more episodes this month for Earth Day, Earth Month, like we said, um, to discuss more things, whether it's about the ocean, animals, and yeah, just trying to spread more awareness and how we can all do better and do our part. However we can. Actually, before we really wrap it up, every time I think of Earth Month, I think of Disney Channel when they had the whole gang together, the Jonas Brothers, Selena Gomez, Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, basically Demi Lovato, saying "Sailing on and on." Is one that can heal another. For those that are listening through Apple Podcast or Spotify, they're now seeing me dance, so they're just definitely just cringing right now at this point.
Now I remember that they used to play that in the commercials during between the
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, what
commercials.
can you do to help the earth? And you'd see them like throwing trash away.
Mhm.
If only we can have that still like going on somewhere to like really pull people, because I don't see anything anymore advertising to help the earth. So
Yeah, I wouldn't know because I don't watch TV. So I don't know if Disney Channel still does that. Like they still
they
try
don't,
to
as
advertise.
far
They
as I
don't.
know,
Like how they not continue that?
because they know they're not as popping as they used to be.
Yeah, Disney Channel back then, early 2000s, like ain't nothing like that.
Best time. It was its prime time, because I was actually talking to my brother about that the other day. Him versus me. I think he watches more Nickelodeon than stuff that is on Disney, but still, like I was like, yeah, Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, That's So Raven, Sunny with a Chance, and he was like, what? That's on whack. I like the Loud House. I like Henry Danger. I like the
I don't
Thunderman.
even know none of those shows.
Yeah, and I was just like, whatever made you loser?
Camp Rock.
Nothing. Exactly. So I don't know. This new generation, let's see how they're coming up. But yeah, we can get into this week's current events now, guys.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna get into the current events. Um, this first current event here is pretty tragic. Um, Chicago police officer fatally shoots 13-year-old boy. On March 29, a Chicago police officer shot and killed a 13-year-old boy named Adam Toledo. It's a little weird because we have the same last name. Yeah,
What the?
yeah, mm-hmm, yeah. So how this incident transpired, Chicago police officers responded to the area Adam was located because of an alert from a spotter, which is like a device that detects if there's a gunshot in the area. And when officers arrived at the scene, they observed two individuals in a nearby alley. And one of the individuals was Adam, and Adam ends up running away. And um, one of the officers ran after Adam, which resulted in an armed confrontation. And the other individual was a 20-year-old man whose name is Ruben Roman Jr. And Ruben was caught and charged with a misdemeanor, misdemeanor resisting arrest. Um, and by the way, guys, there was a gun found at the scene. Um, so there's not much information. I can't say like who it was or anything because this information is not out there. Adam's mother, her name is Elizabeth Toledo, was not informed of Adam's death until 2 days after the incident, which is crazy. Just, you imagine like your son died on Monday, you didn't know until Wednesday.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that reminds me of there was somebody else that happened to. I think his last name was Rice. I forget. It was where the little boy was killed and everything, and what's called his parents weren't notified until I think the next day or 2 days later. It's similar to that, but imagine like being so worried,
yeah.
not knowing until in that case like a week or a few more days.
Mhm. Yeah, so unfortunately, Adam's mother didn't know till 2 days later. And right now, the incident is currently being investigated by the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. And there is body camera footage of the scene, but right now it hasn't been released. According to the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, they plan to release it 60 days after the incident. Um, it seems like there's a policy of when can they release it,
That's new.
especially him being like a minor. Because
Uh-huh.
at first, like I was reading an article that it was like, oh, it can be released because he's a minor, but now they said they might release it. We don't even know 100% if they're
Yeah,
gonna release it
it's the media,
60 days from now.
we say.
So if as we find out more information about this incident, like we'll definitely keep everybody informed. Um, it's just sad, like 13 years old, like sheesh.
They die so
Like,
young now.
like gun violence is just getting out of control.
Yeah. Actually, I think,
Um,
does that have anything to do with the Biden administration focusing on taking action with the gun control thing now? Because I actually got notified today that the Biden administration announced that I'm reading this off Twitter now, guys. It says the Biden administration announces executive action on gun control. President Joe Biden announced a series of executive actions related to gun control on Thursday. The actions task the Justice Department with creating new laws to restrict ghost guns, or guns that can be self-assembled, crafting red flag. This is quoted. Laws that create a reporting system for potential at-risk gun buyers, for states to model, and making a rule on stabilizing braces. Biden also formally announced David Chipman as his nominee to the head of Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. But yeah, him and Kamala both spoke on it apparently. So I think maybe it has something to do with that, and then the recent mass shootings and all the incidents that
yeah,
have happened.
there's been way too much, and we have another current event about another shooting, but we do want to take a moment of silence for Adam Toledo, sending our condolences to his family
Yeah.
as they grieve his loss. All right. Um, we can get to the other current event.
Yeah. Rest in peace to um, Adam, and my condolences with his family. So the next one is also has to do with, this is my mic for the week, guys. Also has to do with another shooting in Arkansas. Oh wait, wrong one. It- not me about to freaking speak Japanese. Let me not. That was me saying Japanese right there before you didn't
I
hear
didn't
me.
even notice.
Yeah, I said Ada, Ada, Ada.
So you know Japanese?
I know some from anime.
That's what-
I'm becoming the memes that I see on social media. Yeah, I speak Japanese. Then going to Japan and not seeing no subtitles. Yeah, it'd be a problem. But I know a little bit. Anyways, back to the thing. So the next one, which is also shooting, like I said, has to do with ex NFL pro Philip Adams killing five and himself in South Carolina in a shooting. So I'm reading this also off of Twitter, guys. So basically, this is what sums it up as of, this is most recent, up to 5 hours ago. So law enforcement officials confirmed that former NFL cornerback Philip Adams shot and killed local doctor Robert Leslie, his wife, and two of his grandchildren, and an employee in Rock Hill, South Carolina, on Wednesday, before later turning the gun on himself. Adams, who had been treated by Robert Leslie, took his own life with a .45 caliber weapon early Thursday, according to AP. Police are still investigating the motive behind the shootings. So, as of right now, they're still investigating, but yeah, he killed himself and his family and even his therapist. So, and then the other victim that was also there.
He killed the therapist.
I don't know. Yeah, that was his therapist, the Robert Leslie. Let me go back.
Oof.
Um, yeah, it was a doctor, Robert Leslie, and the doctor was treating him. So I guess I don't know if he maybe had a mental disability, maybe, or it would. They also weren't specific about the doctor. My
Okay.
bad. Let me
Okay.
take that back. But there, as of right now, we just know that was his doctor. So what kind of doctor? I do not know. But I would assume that was maybe his therapist, because why else is his
Yeah.
doctor?
That story, when Tati sent me that, I was like, wow. Like, I can imagine like the pain you know the family is like the people who are related to the family that died. It was all the whole family died. So
A whole bunch of crap that's going on in the world right now, and it's just like I honestly don't know what to say anymore because I literally feel like a broken record. But I definitely just want to say we can do better in how we treat the earth, how we treat the people on earth, and everything else on the earth. Because we're not here forever, clearly, and we can go any second. And whether people in the street, whether you don't, still treat them with kindness. You never know what people are going through. Never know what people are going through at home in their personal relationships, anything. People can be getting freaking abused. People can be dealing with like immigration. They could be dealing with, maybe a drug issue, like there's a whole bunch of things, like so many things that could be happening in a person's life that you would never expect. But that's why I always say expect the unexpected, because who knows, maybe the next person that may happen to is you. So definitely try to treat everybody with kindness. Try to see what you can do as an individual to be better for yourself and those around you that are in your life as well, because none of us are perfect. We all have work to do, and God forbid something like this happens to us or you guys or anybody else that you may know as well. It's devastating to see that this is what the world has come to, like that we've reached the lowest point, that not even us being able to help our earth that we live on, but to the point where we can't even acknowledge our actions and our behaviors in certain situations, and continuously making excuses for other individuals. So then when incidents such as maybe a suicide or a mass shooting or whatever else that we may see in social media or we don't see in social media happens, it's like it's just a whole bunch of pain in one sitting, I guess you can say. So um, we could do better, guys. That's just what I want to say. And just try to reflect your life. What are you doing? What have you done? And what do you plan to do? Um, because it may seem like a lot, especially like what we said. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not intentional. I don't mean to go on a rant, but sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not intentional, to just focus on ourselves and um, not feel as affected until it happens to us, but definitely try to keep an eye out, because literally everybody's in danger right now. Everybody. It's like nobody's safe at this point. So just be careful out there, guys. Stay safe, especially from COVID as well, since we're also in the middle of a pandemic still. So, yep, that's what I have to say.
yes, rest in peace to the family and all the victims that died in that shooting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Did you want to do
hold
a
on.
moment of
Yeah,
silence?
let's do. Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Let's do a moment of silence for the family. What's the family's last name and the doctor?
Um, Phillips, I believe.
The Phillips and
The Adams, my bad.
oh, the Adams and the doctor.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming to listen, for having our moment of silence, also for these families and these individuals that have lost their lives, along with everybody else that we have also mentioned previously in other episodes that have also lost their lives. Just thank you for respecting that. And also, that's it for right now. And that's basically the end of this video. We hope you guys enjoyed. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to give a thumbs up. And we'll catch you guys next Friday.
All right,
Peace.
peace.